You go. I'll go like that.
Yeah.
When in the 10-minute mark. Just help you out.
Rock and roll. Welcome everybody. Thank you for coming. My name's Nicholas Miriwai. I've been in the transport industry for 20 odd years. Been around forklifts for nearly the same, 18 odd years. One thing I really dislike about forklifts in high risk areas is people and pedestrians and forklifts in the same area. Something that does me head in all the time. Before I get started, I might go through and introduce everybody. So everyone could just introduce themselves. And
Right, my name's Andrew Blower. Been with the company for 29 years. Driving the fork for about 20 years. And hopefully we'll be here a few more years.
Yeah, my name's Darren Holt. I've been with TNT for just on 14 years. Worked from everything from a dockhand to a supervisor.
Billy.
My name's Bill Godwin. I drive the forklift here on day shift. I've been here about 6 years.
I'm Ross Kennedy. I'm the Regional Ops Trainer. I've been at the company for 18 years this year.
Happy birthday.
Okay, name's John, also known as OHS John. I've been with TNT now just on a year. Trying to look after the safety of you lot.
How you going, mate?
Challenged.
Joe Bill, been with the company 27 years. Currently in OHS, sorry, James Lewis in OHS advisor.
Lovely. Yes. Just for everyone's safety, if we have an emergency or you hear sirens going off, we need to exit through the doors over that way and head towards the evacuation point down in the customer collect area. Just watch out for cords and any hazards that are laying around on the floor. Trolley, computer over there. This thing in the middle of the floor. Thank you very much. So, forklifts. I think half the issue here is that people don't understand the dangers of a forklift and they don't really have a lot to do with forklifts. Oops, what did I just do there? So they are powerful, heavy and inherently unstable pieces of equipment, and when loaded commonly weigh up to 5 tonne, and that can cause a lot of damage. They have a range of limitations from maximum load weight to speed, and they've been designed to be a manoeuvrable piece of machinery and to be able to fit into tight spaces, which was also, because of their design being compact, it makes them less stable and very easy to tip over. And they pose risks to both pedestrians and forklift drivers. A medium-sized forklift weighs about the same as your average tip truck, dump truck, and can cause just as much injury. Totally different heights, but forklift still weighs about the same. So what's the risks that are associated with forklifts? What can they cause?
They can hurt people.
Really bad.
They can damage a lot of equipment.
Every year forklift-related incidents result in Australians being killed at work, and more than half of them are pedestrians. Even when travelling at low speeds, forklifts are significant risk to pedestrians who can be crushed by forklifts that are barely moving. Being hit by a load is also a common cause of workplace death and injuries. And also forklift drivers, operators jumping off their forklifts when they tip can also be a killer, especially for a forklift driver, because 9 times out of 10 the forklift tends to fall on them when they do jump off the forklift. Since between 1985 to 2006, there's been 56 forklift-related fatalities. 30 of these involve pedestrians, 16 of them being hit by the loads and 14 being struck by the forklift itself. And 10 other deaths have been caused due to forklift drivers jumping off forklifts when the vehicles tipped on them, when they either turned sharply or had a load up too high and turn or stop suddenly. And since 2003, 61 forklift fatalities nationally across a wide variety of industries has happened related to forklifts. Question, what is the highest cause of forklift-related deaths? Anybody?
Pedestrians.
Pardon?
Pedestrians.
Pedestrians. It's also one of the biggest issues we seem to have as forklift drivers here. Pedestrians and everything all in the same area, a bit like a meat grinder. The forklift stopping power. What people got to realise is because although forklifts might have numbers on the neck, on the sides of them, on the weights that they have in that, they're actually a lot heavier than what it's displayed on. Like a 3-ton forklift is nearly 5 tonne without a load. Right, so if you got a 3-ton forklift and you're travelling at 12 to 14 kilometres, you need between 7 and 8 metres, 7 to 10 metres, just to be able to slow down in an emergency, and that's providing that you're paying attention to your surroundings and you're switched on what you're doing, and people around you are switched on. As a guide, a forklift needs at least 3 metres to stop when travelling at 6 kilometres. Now, all our forklifts travel a lot faster than that. I think twice the speed most of our forklifts are. So that's minimum 6 metres that they need. That's without emergency. Overturning and tipping. Overturning poses the greatest risk for forklift drivers. Is a leading death involving forklifts, with 1 in every 6 deaths. Operators who jump off their forklift will be thrown from the forklift when they turn sharply and it starts to tip, and that 9 times out of 10 it tends to land on the driver and causing them to be stuck and trapped underneath, and in most cases dying.
Do they jump out because they think they're safer jumping out, or do they...
I think it's just an instinct thing. I think because TNT has a policy that you've got to wear your seatbelt, it probably actually stop people from jumping out, realising that they're trapped to the seat anyway. But yeah, I think it's just more of an instinct thing. And a few factors that can help with forklift tipping over, which includes travelling with forks raised, no load, turning sharply, travelling across an incline or even ground, travelling with a raised load, or carrying a load forward down a slope, or even carrying an unbalanced load. And braking hard when loaded can also cause these. So, who's responsible for the safety of forklift operators, pedestrians, and that within the...
Everybody.
Like our safety team?
No, he's just there to advise us. We're all responsible for our safety, from the forklift drivers to the pedestrians, all the way up to management. As an employer, we have a duty of care to look after ourselves and each other. So, how many drivers walk in front of you? Are they looking after themselves? And then, of course, employers, their responsibility is to make sure that the environment we work in is safe, making sure all safety measures are taken, all risks are looked at, analysed, and that us employees actually get to work in a safe environment without the fear of running someone over or being run over. So what is the solution to this problem? Anybody? John, you know.
Implementation of the hierarchy of control after identifying a hazard.
Where does it start? Consultating with the workers that are in the area, probably the best place to start.
Chatting with the boots on the ground. Yeah.
Yes, it's also a legal requirement. That
It's a legal requirement, but you consult your better buying advice. You're what better buying your part of the solution.
and you get them more involved, and then they become more interested in it because they see their input actually getting somewhere.
And they're often more experienced than the person looking at the hazard.
There you go. So firstly, we've got to identify the risks related to forklifts. Assess your workplace and control the risk of the people and other powered mobile coming into contact with those hazards. types of risk controls to consider. It could be from substituting forklifts to a pallet jack or an electric hand jack, like under the mess deck up near the cross docks. Travel flow, making sure traffic goes in a certain direction, make sure they have the most efficient route. Then the traffic management plan to make sure that pedestrians and a forklift are separated or have their own exclusion zones. Safety barriers, floor markings, speed limit devices and signs. Anyone else got any more ideas what we could do to make it a bit safer for all of us?
Maybe, yeah, just try and separate people from forks as much as possible. Just keep them out of the forklift zone.
The problem is here, we have no real forklift zone.
Yeah.
The whole area is really forklift zones. So I think what we've got to focus more on is creating pedestrian zones.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Probably safety zone for the truck drivers, so that when you actually load the truck, there's a little box they stand in,
Yes,
or when you're loading or unloading, they stand in that box, they know exactly where they are, because it does get pretty tight and congested out there, so
it does.
rather than having them just walking around talking,
It's enforced at some places too.
yeah.
Well, that's right. Unless it's been enforced, it's just going to keep doing it as well.
It's
We
not
can put all these
enforced.
measures in place, but if no one's following through with it, then really leaves us back at square one again, doesn't it? Red lights around the forklifts. I think are a better idea than these blue lights that we have at the moment. We trialled them, didn't we? And then nothing happened. Well, blue, that doesn't really say nothing though, does it? It doesn't tell you that it's danger or anything. Red lights speaks more. So put it simply, pedestrians and forklifts don't mix. Don't wait for a forklift-related death or injury to take place at your workplace before better separated forklift pedestrian zones are made. We all need to work together, and we got to get this culture in this place with forklifts and pedestrians fixed. That was a video, but YouTube doesn't work. So a couple of posters I picked up as well. Let's have a look at them. Okay, I'm going to pass them on. We need to get a few of these around the place, I think.
Cheers, mate.
I like that one. No, that one's more for us, I think.
Yeah. Get out of the way, mate.
I think it's that's one of the things I say.
I think in our area as well, I think we need more walkways.
We need something.
Working on it?
We need something to stop it.
Need something, yeah.
Walking diagonally across
Your battery's down to 10%.
the floor. How long have you gone?
That's all right.
And more signs as well, signage would be awesome. I was having a walk around today. I seen 10 signs in the bulk area that gave me the speed limit and two signs telling me this forklift area. The bulk area, that's what I could see. I mean, I might have missed a couple as well, but I think more signage, even on the entrances as you're walking into the area, there should be more signage around that, explaining to people this is a dangerous area. Any questions?
When you're talking about stopping distances earlier,
Yes.
given that stopping distance, in your opinion, from a traffic management point of view, who should be giving way? Should it be the forklift giving way or the pedestrian giving way?
Well, I think there needs a bit of eye-to-eye contact on both sides. At least that way the forklift knows that they've been noticed and the pedestrian knows that they've been noticed, but I think when a forklift has got a load on it, they're almost right away. Because to get a forklift to stop with a full load or a pedestrian walking out in front of them, is whether they get killed by the pallet that falls over or they get hit by the forklift, they're in a bit of trouble.
So you must be supportive that no pedestrians give way to vehicles as part of the traffic management.
I think it should be.
I think it's a joint thing.
Like, you know, they should be aware of the forklift, and if the
So I'm
forklift's
just
coming,
saying, there's a clear cut duty of
let it go.
safety.
Like they say we have to give way to people, pedestrians.
If I'm asking, is that, given those circumstances, is that?
Yeah, people walk out in front of you,
Yeah.
and you've got to make a choice whether you're going to jump on the brakes hard and drop the load, or jump on the brakes slowly and stop it slower.
I think the rule of thumb's going to be who's going to do more damage if a pedestrian hits a forklift. Is the forklift going to come off worse, or is a pedestrian coming off worse?
Pedestrian's always going to come off.
Exactly, so human life's more frail than a freaking
But
forklift.
if they walk out in front of you and you get on the brakes hard, you're likely to drop the load on them anyway.
Yeah.
I think if you're
Yeah, but that's the pedestrian's fault. Joe's talking, if you can see a pedestrian, who gives way?
I'd
If
stop if I was.
If a pedestrian walks out from behind a truck and you can't stop,
Yeah.
there's nothing you can do.
Well, I always give way to pedestrians. If I see
Yeah.
a pedestrian, I'll give way to them.
Yeah,
I'll
exactly.
slow down, let
So-
him go, whatever.
I think it'd be in a high risk area, forklifts should actually have way.
Yeah. It shouldn't be a hard and fast rule, because then somebody would say, well, he was supposed to give way to me, I can walk out in front of him. Or
Th-
if pedestrian's supposed to give way to me,
That's
I
a
can keep driving.
That's the sort of issues we have now, because drivers think, oh, you know, I have right of way, so forklift's got to stop, so I'll just walk out in front of him and he better stop, otherwise I'm going to sue him anyway. So, you know, it's that culture within it that's probably hurting more than who's right and who's wrong.
Well, it's up to the supervisors or leading hands down there to, if a driver's walking around like he's king,
Yes.
they've got to pull him up and say, hang on mate, there's forks working here, you walk safely, don't just walk out thinking they're going to stop for you.
Or maybe areas where you're doing unloading and loading, as soon as you see a pedestrian, you just stop the forklift altogether.
Yeah.
So people soon get the idea, hey, work's
Well,
not getting moved.
as you know,
from
I
here.
mean, if they come within your 3 metre rule, you've got to stop straight away.
Supposed to stop.
You
You're
don't
supposed
keep
to
going.
stop.
Yeah,
Load on the ground,
so,
handbrake on, stop.
So Nick, just elaborating on Joe's question, I guess based on that stopping distance chart that you obtained from the Monash Accident Research Centre,
Yes.
is based on the...
And that's also based that you're switched on and you're not being distracted by anything else.
So our rule of 3 metres, with a governed speed of 8 kilometres an hour, which is what we've got on our forklifts.
Just basically.
Based on that chart, is that 3 metres sufficient enough?
No.
No. And they say depending on the speed of the forklift and depending on the load that the forklift is weighing, that exclusion zone can actually be bigger than 3 metres.
Excellent, okay, thanks. Yeah, well, I said,
Anyone else?
So you'd obviously be in favour of having just a forklift exclusion zone.
Well, technically, the whole floor is forklift exclusion zone. Yeah, I actually think it might be easier if we start working out on where we can do pedestrians exclusion zones.
Yeah.
Because technically, the whole floor's
Well, that's what I mean,
high
this
risk area.
area where it's exclusive just for forklifts and no one else, there's no pedestrian.
If I had my choice, I would have done the exclusion zone from where you walk down, steps, the whole area.
There's some chips there, guys. Help yourselves.
Oh, that's good job, Bryce. You put them in the right spot too. Sorry, I'm interrupting the presentation.
Anyone else?
Hey, I've got a question.
Yes.
What if, I don't know if it's available or not, but is there something or a sensor that we can put on a forklift to say, hey, there is picks up a hot-blooded person as opposed to items, but a hot-blooded person approaching you, so a little beacon or beeper goes off to say, hey, there's someone in here.
I think there is something, yes. As you see, this forklift's got lights around them.
So they go off when there's a person near it, is that what they do?
I think they just warn the person there. I think you can actually get systems where the forklift will pick up people and they've got to wear a certain
Yeah, that's
chip
right,
on
I
them.
have seen those, yes.
I don't think we have the technology to have people radars as such on a forklift.
We did look at it once, didn't we, Joe? I reckon. Yep. Thank you.
God bless. Thank you very
Good
much.
job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I think if you look at it for heat sensors, it's such a